The fundamental question here is about the consent of the people.
We have not had Kashmiris in Kashmir be appreciative. They have said they felt like they were being caged. They have said that their rights were being revoked.
Children as young as 10 years old have been, quote, preventatively detained under the Public Safety Act. I have young children myself. My constituents with young children share the heart-wrenching fear that exists in this idea that your child could be taken off the street because they're deemed to be a threat.
करीबन 2 बजे आया था, फिर हम सोया था, मेरे बच्चा भी सोया था। कम से कम 50-60 आदमी बंदा आया था, एक फौजी का आया था, फिर मेरे बच्चे को निकाला था। फिर इसको मैं जा अंदर बैठो, इसको डंडा मारा था, फिर निकाला, मेरा बच्चा निकाला था, हमारे वो डंडा मारा था, हम अंदर बैठे।
I have actually walked through the graveyards that hold Kashmir's dead, and I have met with grieving families. I've listened to a testimony of a mother who sleepwalks to the grave of her son, attempting to resuscitate his body.
A desire on the part of the Modi government to stoke religious divisions, not just in Kashmir, but as we've seen in other parts of India for political purposes.
A growing crackdown on freedom of expression and a mounting wave of anti-Muslim sentiment that is plaguing the region.
The mass detentions in Jammu and Kashmir, a magistrate in India reported that at least 4,000 people were arrested, held under the Public Safety Act, which is, as we all know, a controversial law that allows authorities to imprison someone for up to 2 years without charge or trial, and that's specific to Jammu and Kashmir.
Arbitrary detention of not just political leaders, but regular people in Kashmir, people who are plumbers or food distributors, and even cases of children being detained for, according to Indian government, vague notions of security or economic
including reports of arbitrary killings, enforced disappearances, and torture, government restrictions on foreign funding for some NGOs, lack of accountability for gender-based violence, and violence and discrimination based on religious affiliation, sexual orientation, and gender identity, and caste or tribe.
Cases of security forces abuses, such as torture and inhumane treatment.
हम पूछ रहे, हम बोल रहे थे हमारा कसूर क्या है, कुछ नहीं सुना, हमें किसी की नहीं सुना, न कुछ बोला, सिर्फ पीटते थे, हर जगह मारा, हर जगह, जिससे हर जगह पावर टच इसलिए देते थे वो कि हम मारने से बेहोश होते थे, फिर वो टच देते थे, उससे हमको होश आता था.
I have met with half-widows, women whose husbands have been disappeared.
They're using some kind of pellet gun that is harming children and blinding them. And so they're now being able to say, oh, no one's died, there's been no fatalities, but they're maiming children, and then they're going around and picking up these children because they're blind, they know that they were at a protest or some, are you...
There's been a 50% drop in patients due to no public transportation for people to be able to reach hospitals. Critical medicines for advanced stages of many diseases are not available.
को जिसको कि 3 डायलिसिस सेशन हफ्ते में चाहिए, वो अगर 1 सेशन लेगा तो वो जरूर डायलिसिस के बिना मर सकता है.
result of this demographic change may be culturally and potentially physically genocidal.
Some fear this may lead to demographic and cultural change in the Muslim majority region.
Elderly women in Srinagar who were protesting in Kashmir Valley were detained, arrested, released on the condition that they sign bonds saying that they won't speak to the media. This is just 2 days ago.
Women are powerful in Kashmir. Women take to the streets as much as men do. Women are fierce. It is actually women. Often disproportionately, it is men that have been targeted in Kashmir, that have been disappeared or killed in extrajudicial executions, or those that are buried in the unknown and mass graves. It is women that become heads of households, that then have to also not only care for their families, but seek justice.
As if they are liberating Kashmiri women, as if they are mere territory, and in the aftermath of the revocation of Article 370, BJP leaders said we are going to now marry fair Kashmiri women.
और जो मुस्लिम कार्यकर्ता है अगर यहाँ पर दौरे में खुशी मनानी चाहिए, साधु वहाँ करोना कश्मीरी गोरी लड़की से
ये जो बच्चे हिंदुस्तान के कुंवारे हैं उनको भारतीय जनता पार्टी को वोट देना चाहिए ताकि उनकी ससुराल कश्मीर के अंदर.
There has been no studies undertaken on rapes, for example. The rapes that we have witnessed in Konanpushpura from 1991, justice is still pending. We saw a terrifying case of a rape and murder of an 8-year-old girl.
You know, throughout the 19th century, it's a story of absolute tragedy. Parveena Ahangar, who's the chairperson of the Association of Parents of Disappeared People, whose son was a victim of that, and she's been leading that struggle for 20 plus years. On International Day of Disappeared this year, they were not even allowed to gather and mourn, something that they've done on the 10th of every month and at the end of August.
Dubious the claim that you need to shut down all forms of communication in order to have security in the Kashmir region. It's dubious the idea that you have to lock up political leaders, activists, children. You don't need to harass journalists in order to be able to have security in a region.
कश्मीर इशू, इसलिए हम चाहते हैं कि कश्मीर का जो मसला है, जो यूनाइटेड नेशन में 18 करारदादे हैं, उसी के मुताबिक कश्मीर का हल होना चाहिए.
I also want to say that every other day for Kashmiris is a commemoration of a massacre.